And usually from there, they're like, okay, we should meet. All right, let's grab coffee. And then I just share about like, how do I know the person who introduced us? And they're
Mhm.
usually pretty curious. Most people that I'm getting referred to don't have a life coach or don't know about life coaching. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's fascinating. Tell me more about it. And usually that's where that interest gets sparked and we connect, we build relationship over coffee. And if they seem like an amicable client, we'll try out a few sessions and see how it goes. Like I said, I usually just ask for a 6 commitment, but there's no contract, there's no program in there. It's just, let's see if this is helpful for you and it's worth the price.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Regan, and today's guest is Jessica Koopman, purpose-driven coach who helps people discover who they truly are, align with their values, and pursue goals that bring lasting fulfillment and joy. At the heart of Koopman coaching is a simple but powerful philosophy: know yourself, live authentically, set goals that align with your values, and stay accountable to the life you want to create. Through one-on-one coaching, Jessica helps clients uncover their identity beyond external expectations, reconnect with what matters most, and transform overwhelm into clarity and momentum. And it's a pleasure for me to have her on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about your beginnings as a coach when it comes to your coaching business. What inspired you to become a coach and then start as a business?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories actually to share. So I'm glad you started there. So I've been mentoring youth since I was in high school. I did like a high school, middle school mentorship program. And ever since then, I was really always into mentorship and guiding others. But it wasn't until I was in a financial advisor position at a major company here. And I loved it overall, but didn't want to stick around there. I didn't really like working in the finance field. But while I was there, I had multiple clients that loved working with me and had a few mentees that were underneath me there that I really loved working with. After I decided to leave and I told some of my mentees, one of them like offered to buy me a drink and took me out and be like, how do I keep working with you when you're gone? Because I need you. And that's literally how it got started. They literally approached me. They're like, have you ever considered life coaching? And I'm like, not seriously. I believed in coaching for so long. I had coaches of all sorts of varieties, whether it be a running coach or a tri coach or a life coach or a business coach, many, many times over the course of my life. So it seemed like something I knew, something I was familiar with, something that was wanted, and something that I knew that I could be good at. And I was like, well, let's give this a go.
And for how many years have you been doing it so far?
9 years in January.
9 years. Oh, wow. So throughout the last 9 years, working with your clients, going through the coaching journey with them, what would you say you'd find most rewarding out of doing this job?
I would love to say the growth I see in them because it's such a profound part of the thing. But honestly, for me and my personality type, it's the relationships that we build. Most of my clients, I am really close friends with as well. We hang out outside of sessions, we do things together, we book trips together, and we go places in groups or we do it solo. And that's an absolute blast. To me, the number one rewarding thing is absolutely the relationship.
Cool. And so when talking about the clients, is there like an ideal client profile? How would you describe that? So do they fit some sort of a industry demographic, psychographic? How would you describe your ideal client profile, or maybe have some common goals or other commonalities that you're seeing?
Yeah. So leadership is my primary target market. And I do that both in a business consulting concept as well as an individual life coaching concept. And I love working with people to grow in leadership understanding and capabilities. I feel like there's a huge dearth of leadership. I mean, I don't know what you experience in your org, but like it's one of those things where a lot of people get promoted and they grow and they get promoted and they grow, but they don't ever get leadership training along the way. They just get promoted into a leadership position because they were good at their last job. I love to go in and work with people that are finding themselves in these leadership roles because they've been great at everything and now they're struggling. They can lead, they're doing it, but they're scraping it by. They're wanting to be great leaders, they're wanting to be effective leaders. They see other people in the industry, in their workspace, getting by, and they don't want to live that just get by mentality. They actually want to become good leaders. That's my primary target, is those people with a passion to be better, to grow, to get better at it, and to propagate that down to their team.
What I've noticed is that throughout the podcast, maybe 70 or let's say 65% of the coaches that I've interviewed mostly are working with leaders. And it seems like an area that needs a lot more coaching than other areas. So it makes
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
sense to me. How is it that people work with you? How would you describe that engagement they have with you? So we mentioned on the intro as well, there's one-on-one coaching, but is there a program of certain length? How does that work for that
So
percentage of the audience who is actually
yeah, no, I
needing
love it. It's
coaching?
a great question. So, I mean, a lot of coaches, I mean, a lot of people that are parallel to me in the industry really sell packages and they try to drive like a program of sorts. I tend to take a much more organic approach. I don't like doing packages because I find that everybody's needs are different. So I bring people in, I do a full needs analysis, we do some personality profiling, and then we talk about what I recommend for them in terms of frequency and duration of coaching. And I ask for them just to commit to generally 6 weeks up front, and then we'll see how things go. My average client retention is over 2.5 years. So I really try to build it in terms of a relationship and help them to build systems of sustained, consistent growth, not just something where they come in, learn something for 6 weeks, and then they move on. I do seminars in corporate culture, and I don't really do it with individuals generally.
So on average, you'd say, was that the longest client, 2 years and a half, or
No,
is
that's my
that
average
like,
client duration. My longest client's been with me for over 8 years.
oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. And we talked about this in the beginning as well, is when it comes to you finding your clients, you mentioned that it's mostly through referrals.
Yeah.
Have you built a system kind of that helps you build that referral?
I'm really big on email introductions. So when I work with my clients and they want to refer me to somebody, if they aren't already familiar with the process and they don't know how to do referrals well on their own, I coach them around doing email referrals. So just, hey, I wanted to introduce you to, you seem like great people, and then just BC me on it, and it gives us an opportunity to connect independently. And usually from there, they're like, okay, we should meet. All right, let's grab coffee. And then I just share about like, how do I know the person who introduced us? And they're usually pretty curious. Most people that I'm getting referred to don't have a life coach or don't know about life coaching. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's fascinating. Tell me more about it. And usually that's where that interest gets sparked and we connect, we build relationship over coffee. And if they seem like an amicable client, we'll try out a few sessions and see how it goes. Like I said, I usually just ask for a 6 commitment, but there's no contract, there's no program in there. It's just, let's see if this is helpful for you and it's worth the price.
And I like that you have a good system around it too. And so, how do you see the future for the next 1 to 3 years when it comes to your coaching business? Do you have any specific goals you're working towards?
That's a great question. I mean, I've always got the 3 to 5 year plan, right? But sometimes things go crazy. So right now, one of my biggest goals is working towards international clientele. I'm kind of wanting to potentially move away from the US market in the next few years. We'll see how things go. But it's an interesting and dynamic time in the States right now for a lot of reasons. And trying to figure out where my new target market's going to be, whether I want that to stay in the States, whether I want to focus on local clientele, which is what I've done historically, or start going more into an online presence. So I do love my in-person clients. I love building relationships in person. It's more fun and rewarding for me. I do also love just doing online sessions too. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of in a process right now of reworking some of those given the new stimuli in the culture at large today and figuring out how that's going to adapt in my business.
And so, mostly right now is referrals through local network, right?
So yes, it started that way, and now it's really grown. So a lot of my clients have moved. So I've got clients all over the country. I've got clients in 6 different states, but it's mainly because clients that I've met here moved, they transplanted, and then they kept the referral network going where they are.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I have a lot of clients who are consultants and things of that nature too. So they'll refer to people to their clients, and their clients are in different states. So like it migrates. It really propagates quite a bit.
Cool. And throughout the last 9 years of working in this type of business, what have been some investments that you've done that you feel really good about, either investments of time or money, but investments that you feel good about that you got a good return from, or you learned a lot? And what have been investments that you would have preferred to have avoided, if there's any of those two?
Oh my gosh, I love both ends of that question so much. Such valuable info, right? Some of the best investments I've made were not into coaching, weirdly enough. I would actually say some of the best investments I've made were into better understanding the fields of my clients. So like I have a lot of project management oriented clients. So I've already got a Scrum Master certification and I'm working towards my PME and just trying to get things situated there so that I can understand where they are and understand their industry in depth, where it's not just I come in, run a program, but I can have a relationship with them. I can understand where they are, how they're processing things, how they're feeling, because I know their industry. I find that unbelievably valuable. Invest in not just what you're doing, but invest in what your clients are doing. Love the question. I generally tend to think about it rewarded in terms of like everything that you invest in yourself is a worthwhile investment. But yeah, I guess as far as it goes, I think a lot of the base coaching programs are great. I think a lot of the intermediate stuff has been helpful. I personally find things that I've invested in that have not been as helpful for me personally have been a lot of the business oriented stuff. So things like how to market your business 101 or like these online courses about like how to market. I think coaching is such a unique niche. It really, I mean, I know people who have successfully built it through online presence, whether it be through social media or through ad-based work, but it's such a personal and a unique, we are all function on trust.
Yeah.
So like I found like a lot of those things, they demonstrate how to sell a product or a service. They aren't really all that effective for how to build a relationship, earn somebody's trust, and to actually grow into a coaching relationship. You're going to get a lot of hits. You're going to get a lot of people calling your number, and you're going to get a lot of people reaching out to you with a lot of that kind of work. But in my experience, it's very hard to turn more than 10% of those into actual clients. And it's a very time-consuming process. It eats up a lot of work on our end. And we'd all be rather coaching than running marketing work, right? So like I really, really buy into the idea of leveraging your network, build out your services, help people to find you by making yourself available and working towards that. And honestly, just develop yourself and your skills more than try to grow in business acumen.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and it makes a lot of sense why it is challenging. And most coaches that I've interviewed don't like to do marketing and sales.
Yeah.
They want to do coaching. That's what they're good at and what they love doing. That's why they became a coach mostly. And so it makes a lot of sense. And generally for coaches who have been successful in the online presence, it's not them doing all the work. So they either have maybe some VA or someone that would hire, because obviously that is not a skill set or like even something you would like to do. For the most part,
I have
don't
no
enjoy
interest
it.
in doing any of that. I hate doing social media stuff. I hate, marketing. It's a royal PITA, and it takes away from the work that I love to do. So
It makes a lot of sense. So right now, when thinking about your goal of going international, kind of like placing yourself in marketplace towards international, and maybe if online is an option, you would also probably consider online. What would you say is a challenge for you that you're trying to solve for next? Is it that capacity on, or like maybe not wanting to do the marketing, or let's just say if it's not online and if it's just like international, what is a challenge that you're facing towards making the move toward?
yeah, with the bulk of my clients, usually primarily focused on local in-person interaction, it's going to be a challenge to switch at least for a season until I can get reestablished. I mean, building a market leg takes a lot of work and time. Once you enter a community, people don't know anything about you, and you can build relationships, make your name known, but until people are there, trust you, and you find a difference maker in that community that can spread that level of trust because people trust that person, it just takes time, right? So that transition, I'm really looking forward to, but also obviously gonna be a little scared of that challenge of the transition there. It's just to grow my online presence, convert a lot of my clients as best I can to online and make sure that they're okay with that. And then when moving abroad, it's gonna be a really fun and difficult challenge to really lock in a new market and really grow that new leg of business.
And do you have like a place in mind that you want to move to?
I've got a short list. My dream is New Zealand. Sabbatical there in 2018, and I absolutely fell in love. Amazing, amazing country. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the culture. I love the people. It's got an amazing sailing and skiing, two of my favorite things in the world. So
Amazing. So that is on the short list, I guess on the top of the short list. Interesting. And I do like traveling a lot, but I haven't been to New Zealand yet. As far as surfing goes, I've been to Bali, which I feel like would potentially be another option for you. But
it's a great digital nomad landing spot. Yeah.
it's getting crowded, which might be a downside, but yeah, it's definitely a good choice for surfing. So yeah, I really appreciate the time that we had together. And the final question is for coaches who want to scale their impact, coaches who are listening, they want to scale their impact. Do you have any other advice you'd like to give to these coaches? And it would be like an advice you'd give to yourself, since you are also driven by impact and you're thinking about going international and scaling that impact.
Yeah, so I think the number one thing I would really encourage coaches to work on is how to use a referral process effectively. The best network you have is the clients that you already have. They trust you, you've built a good relationship with them, they probably believe in what you're doing. Let them help you. That starts with not being afraid to ask them for help. We can't be afraid to ask our clients for help. We tell them to ask for help all the time, right? We need to lead and demonstrate. It's okay to ask for help. It's great to ask for help. It empowers the people around us to be of service and be meaningful and have that impact too, invite them to be a part of your practice. Help them to really see themselves as instrumental in making positive changes in the lives of the people around them that they care about, and really invest in learning to grow that aspect of your business and that aspect of yourself. It's so key and it's so rewarding to see your clients take on what you've given and share it with others.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And yeah, thank you for coming to the
This is great,
podcast.
Regin.
For anyone who wants to connect with you or find you, I believe they can go into koopmancoaching.com,
Yep.
which will link into the description. And they want to talk to you, they can book an appointment or go through the contact form there. And is there any other way people could connect with you?
I am on LinkedIn and all the social media platforms, though like I said before, I don't really do much in the way of social media, but I do have accounts there. So you can always find me there. But LinkedIn or my website would be the best ways to get in touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.